What is up, you guys? Thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Tara, otherwise known as Burn the Stigma. Tonight I was actually supposed to have my mom come on and we were gonna Skype because she's in Texas and I'm in Massachusetts, and we're starting a new series. She's gonna come on and we'll talk to her a couple times a month, so you guys can feel free to ask questions. There's just so much, right? Like there's so much when it comes to relationships during and after a loved one has substance use disorder, right? Like there's just so many things and so much misinformation that families are given that make them trust you even less than they already do based off of your behaviors, right? Like they already didn't trust me because of the shady stuff that I did to them, but then on top of that, they were told not to trust me, basically, that at any point in any time I could go back to using. And then, when I was going in and out of programs, that's what it looked like, right? Like I would have 30, 60, 90 days, and then I would just all of a sudden start using again. And that's what my parents lived. And, they were told in order for me to have success and to have an okay life, that I was going to have to live life a certain way with going to meetings and doing all this stuff. So then for them to, see me not doing that, that was scary for my mom. Like it took a long time to get where we're at. And I know even with the cannabis stuff, she'll still say things to me like, I pray for the day that you feel you don't need to do that. She still says, of course she would rather me be just 100% absent, especially because she doesn't even take Advil. So many people go through that. Even people on Suboxone and Methadone, so many of their family members are against that. There's just so much stigma and misinformation out there that I think having these conversations with my mom will be really cool, because only will I get to educate her on some things, which I will say it was super cute because when, she called to cancel on me, she was saying that, she was talking about how she had been reading all the stuff about harm reduction, and she sounded really interested in it. So I'm actually ordering her the book Undoing Drugs, because I think she's gonna love that. If she's into harm reduction now, learning about it, Undoing Drugs is a great introduction that just gives you so much. That Undoing Drugs is what got me really into harm reduction. I was like, oh my god, this makes so much sense. What is going on? Why are we doing things the way that we do? And then you see, it's a whole thing. But it'll be very interesting for me to see my mom, because she comes from a very abstinent is the way world, even though she's not a 12-stepper. Again, she's someone who doesn't even take Advil. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's really trying to get my whole life together tomorrow on Sunday, because I have the Hemp Fest that's 10,000 plus people in 2 weeks, right? The overdose prevention that I was supposed to do geared towards the hospitality industry, I'm not having that this week because nobody signed up, but I didn't really advertise it, I did a really shitty job. I need to contact the Chamber of Commerce, and and there's so many people that I need to let know, and just how it is, you have to push things, and I didn't do a good job of it at all. So I'm trying to push the October one, and then I'm gonna try to do one in October and November, and then I don't believe I'm gonna do one in December, because December is a crazy month for a lot of people. So we'll see. If the demand is there, I'll definitely do it, but if it's gonna be a chore to get people to go. And I think for I'm gonna do the October one definitely geared towards the hospitality industry, but then also just open it up to anyone who's interested. And then for the November one, I'm going to have it, yes, towards the hospitality industry, but then just party season in general, right? Because it is party season during that time, and people who don't normally do drugs sometimes partake, right? And that's a lot of overdoses that we're seeing are people that are doing things like coke, and they're not expecting there to be any fentanyl there. So we want to teach people, you know, to test their drugs, and, you know, just to be aware, to have the Narcan. Like, people don't think, most of your recreational coke users are not going to think that they need to do any of that. A big part of my harm reduction message is living in a state like Massachusetts. So much of the harm reduction efforts and what people see are on the super extreme end of substance use disorder, right? Because substance use disorder is a spectrum, and unfortunately there is so much stigma, you know, just through like the headlines and the way that like the news has portrayed it and all this stuff. So people who are recreationally using aren't going to want to go to a harm reduction center and pick up some free Narcan and you know, test strips and such, because those resources have been stigmatized, honestly, you know. So I'm just trying to get more people just to normalize it. People use drugs, cool, whatever, you know. Like, I'm lucky, the substance that I use, cannabis, like, I'm able to get it from a dispensary. Like, I know everything is cool with it. Like, it's a safe, regulated supply. People who consume alcohol, they're able to get a safe, regulated supply. People who drink coffee for the caffeine, safe, regulated supply. Nicotine, safe, regulated supply. Every time that we, you know, there's so much that I want to get into. I'm not even gonna get into it now, but it's just saying safe, regulated supply made me think my mom was, even when she was telling me about some of the harm reduction stuff she read, she was like, yeah, there was a doctor who was giving people opioids. Like, the way she said it was really funny. And it's like, yeah, because it's a regulated, safe supply. They target fentanyl. Guess what's happening now? You know, we got the xylazine, we got the, I can't even say this word, the metamines. I can't even say this. This is a notice that actually came out about, you know, we're seeing this. It's a sedative similar to xylazine that we're seeing mixed in fentanyl. It was been in the Philly area, and we are now starting to see it in Massachusetts. It can cause heavy sedation, dry mouth, respiratory depression, low heart rate and blood pressure, muscle spasm, twitches, and hallucinations. Medetimidine is considered to be stronger and lasts longer than xylazine. Though it's not an opioid, it is being found with fentanyl, so giving naloxone in the event of an overdose is still recommended. Focus on rescue breathing, making sure the chest is rising and falling. Wait at least 3 minutes before redosing with naloxone, and always call 911 if possible. If you are concerned with what's in your drugs, contact your local harm reduction agency for more information about drug checking services. And you can learn more about this at streetcheck.org. And that's where I printed out this resource from. So why are we seeing different chemicals like this? Because, you know, we're targeting things like fent, right? So we're having harsher, stricter consequences. So, you know, they're going to up their game and figure something else to put in the supply that's not illegal, that they can still get across. You know, it's just, they were always going to find a way to make the unsafe drug. So the best thing that we can do, I know people are going to say it's crazy, but the best thing that we can do is create a safe supply and have a safe supply option for people, because people are going to use drugs anyways. And we know the more that we crack down on a specific substance, we start to get more notices like these, right? We got the xylazine notice, now we're getting the metazine notice. I think it's medetimidine. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, I got so much stuff to do, so I'm gonna go do it. But it's I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about a lot of the stuff with my mom, but I'm excited to, you know, just make a lot of content about it regardless. I know I keep saying this, but I really, like, I'm just over TikTok right now. It's just ugh, I don't know, I'm just over it. So I'm gonna make YouTube my home. I know I've said that already, and I keep not doing it. But I really, you know what, actually I really have been liking, and I know it's so old school, but Facebook. I have a Burn the Stigma Facebook, so if you're on Facebook, definitely follow me on Facebook, because I post a lot on there, and I've really been loving, like, the conversations and the comments and stuff have been phenomenal. So great harm reduction community. So yeah, Anyways, if you're hearing some of the stuff that I'm saying and you're like, what is this chick talking about? I promise you I will explain it more. And I promise you that even if you think that you don't agree with me right now, that once I present some more information to you guys, that you will at least, let me put it this way, I believe that you will at least start to, don't agree with it, you can understand it. Like, I know when I first heard all this stuff, I was like, safe supply, that sounds insane, you know, like all this stuff. But I promise, like, just give me some time to just, you know, not make another video on the whim like I am, and we'll talk. Okay. All right, have a good one.